Alright, binding and loosening doors may stick with because of the loss of the improper mounting hinges. Swelling of the wood eventually settling in the house correctly. Firstly, difficult to by the reader just hinging correctly. Others with the chain with the planning with some of the wood from the door. When the wood is removed, the finish for the raw wood matched for the door to prevent moisture for the absorption which causes the swelling. Open the door with the impact with the hinges. Strike play with loosened screws. If any loose, broken holes are within large, try longer screws and fill with the holes with the plastic wood with the glue coated with the wood plugs. Reset with the screw with the door. If the door still binds, locate with the point which rubs it sliding and stiff the cardboard between the edge of the closed door and the jab. If the door is free enough at the bottom of the binds near top of the latch, slide of the latch, bottom of the hinge of the motorized too deeply. Open the door, secure with a wedge, remove the screw from the bottom of the hinge, left with the jam, and insert with the cardboard shim under the hinge, leave the reset with the screw. This will be to push the lower part of the door out of the jam till the back of the square is frame. If the door near the bottom of the latch, side with the inside of the shim and the under hinge, leave the jam with the door blind slightly near the top of the bottom edge. After edge hand has been shimmed and sanded with a plane off a small amount of wood, the rubbing at the point can be done without removing the door. If the door is not clear along the latch side, the binding top, the wedge it opens and sands and plane down the wood binding. At the bottom, you must first remove the door. If the door binds along with the entire latch side, remove the end and sand plane down and let the hinge side easier plane to the side of the latch to go to the lock, but need not to be removed. Also, since the hinge is less conspicuous, it must be easier to refinish. When the door removes freely with the latch is line and put the reattach the strike plate, shim and then move it to the near enough of the door to hold the door. Resist with the ends of the outside is with the not latch, insert with the narrow cardboard shim. Under the half of the hinge leaf on the pin side out of each of the hinge of the jab. This can be inserted when the hinged leaf is removed on the jab. First, check the hinges strike plate to make sure that they're not loose in the sheeting of the cardboard between the door jams while the cardboard between the door and the jam with the door is closed, the door is blind slightly. These points where cardboard does not move freely. Secure the top of the swim at the tight when the upper hinge and screw the shim out of the hinges to come in to cure in binding on the hinge side of the shift up in the top of the bottom hinge bolt as needed. Secure the outside of the bottom of the latch for the tight and lower range screws without of the upper stream. Put cardboard shims over the bottom of the hinge, jam the door binds with the top of the latch for the show of the top of the hinge of the bottom shim. Tighten hinges to the longering the screw to the fill holes with a plastic wood, a glue coated wood plugs. Reset old screws. If the door resists closing, insert a narrow shim piece between the jam and the leaf of each hinge. Insert a wedge under the outer edge of the door to hold it steadily and for sanding, planing when working on one hinge. Using a sand block on a plane is to remove the small amount of the wood top of the door. Need to remove the door from the hinge. If the latch bolt fails to reattach the striking plate opening, and insert cardboard shim under the strike plate to move it nearer the door. Alright, binding and loosening. The door must be removed when the bottom edge of the hinge side needs planing. If the door is hung with a loose pin hinge, drive them up and out of the hammer out the screwdriver. Remove the pin from the both bottom hinges first, with the top hinge last, so the door will not fall while still held by one hinge. If the door is hung with the hinges that do not have loose pins, remove the screws with one leaf each of the hinge of the door jam side with the door with a wide open and supporting wedge under the outer corner. Planing the hinge side, but before removing the door with the mark on the spots where it binds the plane of these marks the plane with greater care. It's easy to remove too much wood. In most cases, it may be necessary to deepen the hinge mortar so that the position of the door of the frame will not be changed. Planning in the bottom, prop of the door so that it stands on one long edge of the bottom perpendicular to the floor, plane for the top of the corner of the bottom edge of the top of the center, then turn to the door over the standing of the other, then long edge plane from the other corner of the circuit, corner of the center. Relocating the striking plate. A door will not close the latch tongue but does not strike with the planning. Correct the condition filling with the striker plate to make the opening slightly larger. The striker plate should be moved if it's too much outline. To remove the striker plate, extend the mortise and fill exposed part of the plastic. Plug up old screw holes. Alright, to move the crosspin hinge, that's easy. Nail the pin out. To remove the marks on the door, make sure the just the right amount of wood to remove all the high spots. To move the door out of the way, door away from the jamb, the latch side of the hammer, the chisel to the deepening of the hinge mortise on the jab. Before installing the door, slightly notch one top of the hinge of the left leaf barrel to expedite the future pin over removal. Correct minor or misadjustment to latch bolt when the strike plate opening and enlarge opening with a file. If the strike plate or latch is too much out of line, if the door ratifies, relocate the strike plate with a new mortise. And then it shows the correct wraps for warp doors. Hang in a new door to hang in a new door first solve with the protective end of the protective still with the measuring mark of the door with the width of the height with the cutout of the side of the plate and the turn the edge of the hinge with the latch side with the bottom of the rail. Place door open side of the bottom edge of the under the top of the rail. Place it within half inch of the clearance. The door will come out over the rung. Increase to 7/8 of an inch. Allow the 1/2 inch clearance of the top on each side. Locate the hinges at 6 to 7 inches from the top and 10 or 11 inches from the bottom. Mark the positions on the door and jam and chisel with the cut mortise for the bit hinges. And it shows weather stripping your door. J-strips, the most efficient door weathering strip set with the interlocking aluminum channels that are fitted to the round of the door edge. One J-strip is applied with a rabbet with a made with the top of the latch side of the door. Interlock with a match strip fitted with the rabbet cut with the end of the frame of the rabbet. Rubber back flat strip is attached to the rabbet in the bottom of the door. The fit is a groove with a metal threshold with another flat strip is installed within the rabbet is stripped with a hinge side of the door with the position so the 1/4 inch project into the groove of the cut frame. Method cannot be used badly warped door because they seem some specialized tools are required if they must best have the installation done professionally. Replacing a threshold part of the doorway, receive the most square of the where is the saddle and threshold with the remove of the swaddle with the swingle of the door wide open the most free clearance and the knee with the take of the door off the necessary with the remove of the door stop from the jam. Lift out with the old saddle from the pry bar of the clouds with a hammer. If saddle badly worn, may be easier with a split with the wood with a chisel with the remove it in pieces of the saddle. Extend with the under of the jam to try to remove it intact, but you cannot. Cut the saddle into 3 sections with a back saw and remove the middle section. Then work out over the end of the pieces whenever possible. The old saddle is pattern for the new one. If it cannot be done, take with the measurements carefully and cut the new piece as accordingly. Cut and protruding ends fit snugly against the door casing, drill holes and sinking rails of the countersink screws to secure the new saddle to the floor and fill holes with wood putty. And it shows the cut out of the saddles. Alright, installing a handle. The door can be often made with a better looking and easier, closer addition with a decorative handle, such that the handle is available with a number of the finishes. Some of them can be installed over the existing knot without a removing notch or the rows. Install a P-hole. A viewer allowed the household to see the color before opening the door. Some P-holes are simply with a swing cover over the hole of the door, or a better type that clips it with a lens that give you a wide angle view of the exterior. Installing a mail slot. Mail slot should be at least 1/2 inch wide by 7 inches long. Be set at least 30 inches above the floor with the thicker part of the door. Never be paneled with a part of the door of this type. Hollow core doors need a metal chute between the inside and outside plates. Installing glass. When glass is substituted one or more of the panel of the door, order to emit light. The first step of the take with the door down. Place it across the paddle sawhorse at the bench top. Remove the molding carefully, then so that it can be used again. Then pry out the panel. Clean it. Bed glue and dirt. Apply the exterior paint with the panel with the glass will be placed. Lay a thin layer of the glazing compound on the bottom store. Installing glass. When you have the glass position, press it down slightly, force the compound around the edges, run another layer of compound around the perimeter of the glass, tighten the old molding anew with the one with the necessary. Hold the glass in place, drive the brads through the molding into the sill, rails, stiles, and rails, brads through the molding into the stiles and rails, rehang the door. Molding and glazing compound on the outside of the door should be protected against weather and by at least 2 coats of the exterior paint. Adding flush panel. Okay, you can turn old-fashioned panel board into the modern flush board by covering it on both sides with a sheeting of the thin plywood, veneer, hardboard, or plastic laminate. Of the old hardboard could be used longer doorknob spindle may be needed because of the door's added thickness. First, remove the knobs from the door, then lock with the latch. Next, remove the door from the jamb by driving out with a hinge pin, taking each hinged leaf off the door so that you will be unobstructed access to the surface of the door when you place in the bench from the sawhorse. All nails and screws or decorative trim must be removed with the descriptive sandpaper fitted with the coarse sandpaper to remove the old paint with a vanish for the support conditions of the door down to the solid surface to which the glue can adhere properly. Putting down a molding that cannot be removed. Watching old for the nails building with a hole section, plywood paneling, and secure the filler with the glue and threads. Brads. This will be provided suitable even with the gluing surface for the new sheeting with a large panel, and it will also prevent buckling. Install glue clamps as you can contact the consent cement, which does not require the clamping. Apply with the cement. The door surface of the panel will be used the bowl surface with the dry to touch. Then cover the cemented door surface with a large sheet with a wrapping paper to the next position of the panel over the paper to make sure that it's exactly where you want it. Maybe someone hold down one or while you're lifting other of the tearaway part of the paper, the lower of the panel, the end of the grab lift, and then lift over the opposite end of the tearaway with the rest of the paper to lower the remainder of the panel into place. If the sheeting selected to cover the entire surface of the door with a slightly larger initially, with plating it down later with a precise fit with the sheeting of the to be raised panel with a small strip of the old door showing around its perimeter, squared it off and carefully finish its edges. White glue can be used for interior door. For exterior door, use waterproof glue such as resistant resin, resin, or powdered plastic resin. As soon as the glue has applied, the sheathing in position, placed over the sheet with three-quarters of an inch plywood enough to cover the sheathing of the panel. Will apply the clamps to weights of about 6 inches. Intervals, leave them in place overnight and no longer work on one side of the door at a time. When you have to remove the clamp, the weights of the first of the side of the bore hole lock the knobs before the gluing clamp at the second side of the wall. Gluing has been completed. The lock over the latch over the has been bored in second phase. All hardwood has been played with a new panel. The door is ready to be hung. A new sheathing is raised panel type of the ability to need of the adjust hinge of the top of the usually necessary to compensate how with its extra thickness added. Completely flushing sheathing by relocating both hinges and stop it. If you use the comparatively thin covering material such as plastic, laminate, veneer, you may not have the reset hinges or stops. Cutting a new doorway. Determine the general position proposed opening with the top of the wall of the drill with a 1/8 of an inch pilot holes to the located side. Also check with the basement to be sure that the opening contains now heating ducts or pipes. Electrical wires can be easily located. Try to have the outside of the new doorway close to the side of the location. Out of their side, it depends on the size of this door, so the opening should be 5 inches wide or 5.5 inches higher than the dimension of the new door. Cut plaster and a gypsum board with a chisel with a laminator with a wet lace could be cut with a coarse composite sole. Metal lace and tin snips on the back hacksaw will be removed. Center studs and the sole plate and the bottom of the studs may be reused in a double header. Opening constructed in the frame should be allowing enough extra space for the adjustment as well for the hinges and lock blocks if needed. While the framing has been properly secured with the means of the wedges, you should be permanently nailed to the side of the header with the nails placed 1/4 inch to the edges of the space 16 inches apart. The final step is applied with the trim molding. You can use the hanging of the door on page 144, fit in the strike plate, and attach the stop molding. Alright, closing a doorway. Close up the doorway and necessary fit with the remove the door from the hardware. Try to pry off the casing with taking care of the avoiding damage of the adjacent wall of the prior to the side jam. Loosen starting at the bottom of the right bar. If necessary, pull the side jabs out of the bottom. Then we'll loosen the head jab of the entire frame with the removed as a unit. Pull out any nails remaining in the studs. If the nail puller would not get them out, cut them off. Flush. Remove the threshold. Nail 2x4 at the top of the opening and over at the bottom. One on each side of the one over the upright of the center of the install of the wall materials to match existing wall of the wall board to close the opening in the plaster wall. Add a baseboard moldering stamp insulation to stud and cavity wall closing an exterior doorway. Alright, door locks. Basic type of the common residential use of the rim locks, mortise locks, and cylindrical locks. Although there are three types of locks. You have the key cylinder with the type of the cylindrical lock, used only with the type of the key wheel and the knob. Some of the cylinder locks, known as the tubular locks, actually contain key for the cylinders, the interior doors, and then install the frame as well as the cylinder locks. Mortise locks are installed with a recess with a cut into the edge of the door, where they cannot be installed at the end of the door with less than 1 3/8 of an inch thick, and the hand of the door should be specified with the wording of the mortise lock, even though the latch can be reversed and the locks necessary with additional with a spring-loaded latch. Mortise locks have the deadbolt with the key that inserted with the fully turned with the deadbolt extended to the double lock of the door of the deadbolt can be retracted with the extent of the inside of the house with the turning of the knob with the side of the key that's necessary. With the mortise locks are also available with the deadbolt. They can also be operated with a key with either side. Placing mortise lock. All those style of the mortise lock can be replaced with a modified cylindrical type lock. Even the replacement kit, the kit locks are available with a wide range of style of the furniture. They may install the most residential doors. The keys include the temperature to aid the installation, decorative escutcheons or trim plates large enough to cover the holes and scar left by the removal of the old lock. Mortise lock, maintenance of the clean mortise law with the wash thoroughly with the paint with thinner with a grease solvent, lubricate it with the powdered graphite with a silicone spray light oil with a light grease, lubricate with the tubular pins and the keyways from the cylinders, blowing and then graphite applied with the graphite and with the key. Then never use the oil in the cylinder, it will gum up the timbers. Lubricate the latch with the light oil with wipe off the excess. Rim locks are called with the night locks or night latches. Are mounted with the inside face of the door. Often supplement mortise locks. Some of the spring with the dual lock doors shut locked automatically with the doors closed with the other dead bolts. To install the block, illustrate the mark with the location with the key, cylinder with the drill, the hole, secure with the mounting plate on the face of the door. Next, fasten the cylinder mounting with the connecting with the screw that with the metal match to the door. And thickness first lock. Case for the mounting plate, making sure the connection bars into the locking mechanism, short connecting the bar with the necessary with the knot. Some locks have the mounting of the plate that are positioned directly on the door. Surface position of the strike plate with the jab. It's over the latch pad with the match for the striking plate, opening and finish with the cutting of the mortise with the strike plate with the mounting of the plate with the jam. Tubular locks are used in interior doors. Installation requires 2 holes, large one cut in all the way through the door with a spin over the stem, and then small with the one over the door edge with the latch bolt with some of the moldings pushed with the knob of the small lever at the bottom of the row of the interior side of the lock. The latch bolt of the door cannot be opened from the outside, but it can be released by turning it inside of the knob, pushing a rod of the nail with the into the hole for the outside of the nail. Cylindrical locks are larger, stronger than the tubular, and provide more substantial security than required with the exterior lens. Their units are locked and remain with the key for the outer knob, with the turn with the knob, with the good button with the inner knob. When this key is inserted with the key way with the knob handle is active with the pin numbers, the permitting the cylindrical to rotate with the lock to the opening of the knobs of the cylindrical locks. Hollows spindle are attached to it by a spring catch. Outside rows and screws in that were attached with the screws from the inside to prevent tampering with the lock from the outside. Installing cylindrical lock. Cylindrical lock tubular lock is now a completed job, but it does, however, demand close to the attention of the detail with the precise following with the manufacturer of the step-by-step instruction comes with each lock set. Installation required the drilling of the two-hole of the large handle through the face of the door with the cylinder, with the spin with the stem, and the small with the edge of the door with the latch bolt with the mortise is necessary with the latch plate when into the door with the track with the plate with the jam. The cylindrical tubular locks are usually mounted about 36 inches above the floor level. Installing a deadlock. Installing a replacement mortise lock with a mortise lock either the chamber the heavy-duty offers with a wide variety of the lock function with the cylindrical lock for a reason because they often produce the desired decorative effect. Mortise lock with the often use the replace cylindrical lock with some of the one more two cylinder with the contain up to 6 number tumbler pins. Some of the feed dead lock hardened steel for the greater of the security. Modern mortise locks are being installed with the place of the cylindrical lock if necessary to fill the holes of the old block. They are usually nearly patched or sand, and maintenance of the repair will not be noticeable for the major repair covering a cylindrical hole. For example, the cut diamond-shaped patch for each door face with the bevel patch side with the cutout areas of the door face to make sure the patches will fit snugly. Glue patches into position, clamp on until the dry. Fill any space where the filler is dry, and sand smooth. Finally, give the entire door a coating of the paint before installing the lock. Replacing floor and walls. Ceramic tiles is hard as it rarely gets damaged, but with the door does come loose, and the occasional repair is simply a matter of the resetting loosened tile with the waterproof adhesive for the tiles available with the most for the paint and with the hardware serves all of the old cement must always be completely removed from any of the adhesive applied with a brush or vacuum thoroughly loose for the walls. Loose wall tiles can be reset with the cement with the floor tiles, while the wall tile failure must be due to the movement of the wall support with the warping of the stud, shifting of the foundation, or improper preparation installation. Wall tile must be removed and replaced because of the crazing of the pattern of the hairline cracks over the glazed surface of the tile, unless the contractor left a few extra tiles behind from the original job. That may take some shopping around to find a replacement that is a perfect match. Replacing ceramic soap dish. Soap dishes, sometimes toothbrush holders, or ceramic features most frequently needed to the repair of the replacement. When the fixture of the broken, remove it with a chisel and a hammer. Very careful not to damage any of the adjoining tiles. Select a replacement dish with a holder that will take the same with the number of the tiles as space. The old one it may have the edge of the flush of the adjoining tile. The edge of it may overlap with while the base occupies the same with tile space for the old fixture that cannot get any of the extra color match of the dish of the contract's color will provide it's harmonious. Alright, we're on basements, and I think we got cut the tape there.